So what do you consider your ethnicity then?
American of black and Middle Eastern heritage.
Would you consider it Arab descent?
I have some Arab descent, Assyrian and some Lebanese descent.
And what is it that you feel that you know about the situation, about the conflict that most Americans don't understand?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to say something. What distresses me about what's going on in the world now is the rising wave of anti-Semitism. And also, what really distresses me is that many black people are anti-Semitic, are vociferously anti-Israel, and are against Israel, you know, plaintively just because of its Jewishness. Many black people in America sympathize really badly, unhealthily with terrorism. They sympathize with people like Saddam Hussein. If you really cornered the average African American and asked them what they think of people like Osama and Saddam Hussein, most of them would say, hey, they're not so bad. They're probably pretty cool. A lot of black Americans see Saddam as sort of a gangster. You know, like they think he's sort of cool. They think he's a gangster. You know, because of all his palaces and his wealth and all that. Many black Americans, in a very infantile way, believe that it's cool to be a thug or to be a mass murderer. And
has to be said. Boy, keep going.
And because of that childishness on the part of the black community, and because of that incoercion with anti-Semitism, the nascent anti-Semitism, which has always dominated black America, I think because of its fundamentalist Protestant heritage in this country, has contributed to a very, very unhealthy wave of anti-Semitism, which is unfair and hypocritical. But also, we were discussing Europe, and in Europe, the amount of anti-Semitism has always been prevalent. I mean, since the beginning, since Jews arrived in Europe, and now, you know, many Europeans tend to look for scapegoats, and Jews are the perfect scapegoat, and you know the Europeans are looking for scapegoats, and most of them are sympathetic to organizations like Hezbollah, and don't really want to, you know, they don't really want to help. They don't want to help the United States at all in retrieving the Muslims or retrieving the Muslim fanatics. And you know, this is you said you had an argument with someone before. You know, you'll see that most people in Europe are opposed to Israel and opposed to its existence, and it's just a tragic. Thank God that the United States and Bush and Lieberman are the only people that are really standing up for Israel. You know, without that support, man, I wouldn't want to be an Israeli. You know.
Yeah.
I know many Israelis proudly say, "Hey, we don't need the United States," but believe me, they need the United States. I promise you.
What do you think the Islamists want?
The Islamists want to get back to the good old days, man, when they ruled the world. And they ruled the world, baby. They had power everywhere. You know, and this gentleman said they spread it by the sword. Islam is not a religion of peace. Islam is
Conquest.
Religion of conquest and intolerance, man. You know, you read the Quran, they say, if you ain't Muslim, give you 3 chances to convert to Islam. Third time you turn it down, you got to die. Prophet Muhammad executed 700 Jews in Arabia with his own hands because they would not convert. And to this day, there's never been a Jew in Arabia. That was 1,400 years ago. You know, Islam is not a religion of tolerance or peace. It never has been.
And are you concerned, as someone with a black heritage, are you concerned about how the black community can be co-opted by Islamists?
Oh yeah, in prisons, many African Americans in prisons convert to Islam, kind of a slanted, twisted version of Islam, which is Afrocentric and sort of ghettoized. You know, it's sort of been converted into a kind of a political tool. That seems to be the issue with Islamic schools everywhere. The Islamic train of thought, the Islamic education seems to be leaning towards politicizing and radicalizing a lot of young people.
Yeah. So if you could convey a message to either the black churches or the black community in general,
I would say the message I would give to the black community and the black churches is, hey, practice what you preach. You're against intolerance, you're against racism. And then, you know, the Jews have been the Jews were slaves, the Jews were victims, the Jews were Holocaust victims. Just like the slavery in America was a Holocaust. You know, there was a Holocaust against Jews. I know a lot of black people don't want to believe that there was a Holocaust. There are many Holocaust deniers in the black community. But practice what you preach, black people. Denounce Mel Gibson. What if Mel Gibson had denounced the Jew? What if Mel Gibson said that about blacks instead of about Jews when he was arrested? You think that there would be a hell of an outcry, man? I mean, there would be. What do you think black people would be saying about that? There was some kind of poll of black people where they said that most black people were not bothered by Gibson's remarks. In fact, they agreed. Many black people agreed with Gibson.
But what would happen to black Christians if Islam were to grow in America?
They would have to be. They give them 3 chances to convert, right? You better turn over.
What do you think about Islam using a religion to cloak itself for allegations of racism?
Oh, yeah, there are many. Yeah, as I said, the Arab world is full of Jew haters. Simply because they're Jews, not because all this bullshit about, you know, Israel's crimes against humanity, man. Look, the Arab world, you might look at the Arab world, the history of the Arab world, they've committed crimes against humanity before Israel was even, you know, a country. Why are they complaining? You know, it all comes down to intolerance, mainly anti-Semitism. And that's the problem in the world today, is anti-Semitism. I don't know how to stamp it out. I don't know how to get rid of anti-Semitism. I guess there never will be. There's no way to litigate against anti-Semitism. Countries like Canada, they have laws against hate speech, where some dude was sent to prison for denying the Holocaust happened. Well, I think that's ridiculous, personally. I think that's ridiculous. But, you know, I don't know how to change people's minds, but I know that, you know, these countries that are aiding Arab